Elon Musk, the billionaire famous for his dreams of conquering space and revolutionizing technology, suddenly found himself facing an unexpected reality. In a small cafe in San Francisco, amidst the city's relentless pace, he unexpectedly crossed paths with Maribel Vega, the nanny who had cared for him as a child. But instead of enjoying her twilight years, she was still working tirelessly at the age of 85. A question immediately struck Elon's mind. Why was the woman who had once nurtured his dreams now struggling like this? And this was only the beginning of a shocking truth. Elon Musk stepped out of the conference center in San Francisco, feeling exhausted after a long series of meetings about the future of technology. The handshakes, the questions about Mars, about AI, about world-changing projects, all blended into one, like an endless storm of information. He just wanted to find a quiet corner, a strong coffee to regain his balance before continuing his relentless journey. Looking around the bustling street, Elon quickly noticed a small cafe nestled between towering modern buildings. It wasn't the kind of luxurious place frequented by business elites, nor did it have the glamour of famous brands, but its simplicity and quietness drew him in. "Just 15 minutes, Elon murmured, signaling his security team to keep their distance as he crossed the street. A small bell chimed as Elon pushed open the door. The aroma of freshly ground coffee mingled with the scent of baked goods, evoking a strange warmth. He ordered a black coffee and found a seat in a secluded corner where he could observe the entire cafe without drawing attention. He cherished moments like these, when the world seemed to slow down, even if just for a moment. And then, in that very moment, an image made Elon freeze. Across the cafe, an elderly woman was slowly wiping down tables, her frail hands moving with careful precision. Her silver hair was neatly tied back, her faded blue uniform worn thin by time. But it was her hands, the slight tilt of her right wrist as she scrubbed a stubborn stain on the table. A gesture so strangely familiar that something stirred deep in Elon's memory. He squinted, observing more closely. Then his gaze met her face as she turned. The coffee cup in Elon's hand halted midair. His breath caught in his throat. "No way," he murmured. Memories flooded back like crashing waves. Bedtime stories told in 2 languages. Scraped knees, carefully bandaged. A gentle voice telling him that the sky wasn't just distant lights, but entire worlds waiting to be explored. Maribel, the name escaped Elon's lips before he could think. She didn't hear him. She continued her work as if nothing in this world was extraordinary. Elon stood up, his heart pounding as he stepped closer. At that moment, he didn't need security or fame. He just needed confirmation of what his mind refused to believe. Maribel Vega, his voice was clearer now. The woman froze, her hand tightening around the cleaning cloth. She turned, her weary brown eyes reflecting confusion as she looked at the tall man standing before her. "Sorry, do I know you?" she asked, her voice tinged with fatigue. Elon took a deep breath, a trembling smile forming on his lips. "It's me, Elon Musk. Ellie, from Pretoria." That moment, time seemed to stop. Maribel's eyes widened, her trembling hand lifting slightly as if afraid this was just a dream. Ellie. Her voice quivered as if the long decades had just melted away in a blink. Elon nodded, unable to hide his emotions. "It's me," he said, his voice thick with emotion. Maribel brought a hand to her mouth, tears welling up as she looked at the man before her. No longer the little boy she once comforted when he cried, but now one of the most powerful figures in the world. "You've grown so much," she whispered, tears streaming down her cheeks. "I've seen you on TV. I always knew you'd do great things." Elon swallowed hard, feeling as if a lost piece of his past had suddenly returned. But then, his eyes drifted to her worn-out uniform, her calloused hands, and he realized a truth that made his heart tighten. What are you doing here?" he asked, his gaze sweeping over the cafe. You're 85. Why are you still working? Maribel smiled, but it wasn't a happy smile. It was the smile of someone who had long been accustomed to hardship. It's life, Ellie. Everyone has to work to survive. Before Elon could say anything more, a voice called from behind the counter. Maribel, tables 4 and 6 need cleaning. Maribel nodded, gently squeezing Elon's hand before turning away. I have to get back to work, she said softly. Take care of yourself, dear. I'm proud of you. But Elon couldn't just let her walk away like that. He watched the small figure of the woman who had once been his entire world, now just another unnoticed worker in this glamorous city. He clenched his fists. This was unacceptable. As he stepped out of the cafe, Elon was no longer just a man seeking a quiet moment. Now his mind had only one goal. Maribel would never have to work another day in her life. Staring at the reflection of car lights on the busy streets of San Francisco, Elon spoke quietly to the bodyguard beside him. Change of plans. I want to know everything about this cafe, who owns it, the staff's work schedules, and most importantly, Maribel's place of residence. The wheels of fate began to turn, and Elon Musk, the man who had conquered space, was now about to embark on a different journey. A journey to bring justice to the woman who had once protected his dreams. Inside the luxury car gliding through the dazzling headlights of San Francisco, Elon Musk sat in silence, his gaze fixed on the window, but his mind wandered through the past. The reunion with Maribel didn't just bring back childhood memories, it unsettled him. She had been the woman who cared for him, the one who taught him to dream big and persist in greatness. So why, after all these years, had she ended up working 2 labor-intensive jobs at 85? What had happened? Was this merely the certainty of fate? Or was there a hidden truth buried for decades? Elon disliked unanswered questions, and he decided he had to find the truth. He pulled out his phone, scrolled quickly through his contacts, and dialed a number he only called when absolutely necessary. After 2 rings, a deep voice answered, Mr. Musk. Elon spoke immediately without preamble. I need information on someone. Immediately. There was a brief pause on the other end. Then a professional voice asked, Name? Elon took a deep breath. Maribel Vega. The sound of rapid, precise keystrokes followed. Her age? 85. Currently residing in Oakland. I'll send you everything I can find within the hour. Elon ended the call, his eyes still on the city lights outside, but his thoughts tangled like a knotted thread. An hour later, inside his luxury hotel suite, the screen of his laptop illuminated with an email titled, Information on Maribel Vega. He opened it. Maribel had been receiving money from a South African bank account for 10 years, from 1985 to 1995. Account holder, May Musk. Elon scrolled down. Another attachment appeared, a scanned document from 1985. A letter requesting an urgent visa approval from the U.S. Embassy in South Africa. His breath slowed as he recognized the letterhead. It was from his family. He read each word carefully. Maribel Vega is no longer needed in the Musk household. If she does not leave immediately, there may be unforeseen consequences. Errol Musk. Elon sank into his chair, eyes locked on the screen, his breathing heavy. He had always known his father was a man who got things done, but he had never imagined he would go as far as to threaten someone like Maribel. And then, memories rushed back, the echoes of an argument from downstairs the night before Maribel disappeared. Her furious voice, You can't treat the boy like this. He's just a child. And his father's chilling response, You have no right to interfere in this house. If you don't disappear by tomorrow, I will make sure you regret it. Now Elon understood. She hadn't left because she wanted to. She had been forced to. And the man behind it all was his own father. A storm raged inside him, fierce and unrelenting. His entire childhood had been stripped of the one person who had truly loved and protected him, all because one man couldn't tolerate her presence in their home. But the biggest question remained unanswered. Why? Finally, a soft exhale. Elon, there are things I never told you, not because I wanted to hide them, but because I thought it was better for you not to know. Elon clenched his jaw, his voice turning ice cold. There's no such thing as better not to know anymore. Elon Musk gripped the phone in his hand, his pulse pounding like the rhythm of a battle drum. On the other end of the line, his mother remained silent, as if weighing where to begin. His whole life had been a pursuit of truth, facts, numbers, precise events that built empires. But this time, the truth wasn't something he could solve on a whiteboard. It was a piece of the past he had never been prepared to face. His mother exhaled, her voice carrying the weight of something buried for years. You've always felt different, haven't you, Elon? Even as a child, you thought too much, asked questions your father didn't want to hear. Your father, he never truly accepted you. Elon's eyes darkened as fragmented childhood memories surfaced. Long evenings spent lost in dreams too vast. Sharp words that branded him as weak, unrealistic. Mom, I don't need to hear this, Elon said, struggling to contain the storm rising inside him. I want to know why he sent Maribel away. Silence stretched between them. Then her voice, hushed yet unwavering, because she knew the truth. Elon's jaw tightened. What truth? A long pause. Then his mother spoke softly. Errol is not your father. Elon's heartbeat stilled. He blinked, the hotel room suddenly feeling impossibly small. What did you just say? His voice was low, dangerous. I'm telling you the truth, Elon. Before I met Errol, I loved another man. His name was Joshua Haldeman. When that relationship ended, I was already pregnant with you. Errol knew, but for the sake of the family's reputation, he decided to claim you as his son. It felt as if the ground beneath Elon had been ripped away. For years, he had battled against the contradictions of his childhood, struggling for the approval of a man who never truly saw him, never accepted him, and now he realized he had never been his son to begin with. Elon, are you still there? His mother's voice pulled him back. He steadied himself, inhaling deeply. Maribel knew this the whole time? Yes, I told her from the beginning. When I hired her as your nanny, I didn't just need someone to take care of you. I needed someone who knew who you really were. Someone who could see you without judgment, without trying to mold you into what Errol wanted. Elon closed his eyes, the pieces of the past falling into place. Maribel wasn't just a nanny. She had been his protector, the one who stood up for him when Errol tried to fix him with his brutal methods. The only one unafraid to defy a powerful, ruthless man. And because of that, she had been forced to leave. But one question remained. If you knew how he treated me, why didn't you do anything? His voice no longer concealed the pain beneath it. Another pause. Then when she spoke again, her voice was weary, stripped bare. Do you think I didn't want to? But back then, I had no choice. Errol controlled everything. Money, influence, power. If I went against him, I would lose everything. And so would you. Elon stood up, pacing the room. He could hardly comprehend how he had lived so many years without knowing this truth. And the worst part, Maribel had been out there all this time, paying the price for protecting him. He turned back to his laptop, scanning the report of Maribel's life after she left South Africa. Years of struggle, hard labor, small payments she sent him until she could no longer afford to. And then, a thought struck him. He couldn't change the past, but he could change the present. He picked up his phone again, this time calling someone else. I need to meet with the legal team and the real estate division immediately, he said. I want to buy the cafe where Maribel works, and I want full ownership of the cleaning company where she works night shifts. A brief hesitation from the assistant on the other end. Then a crisp reply, "I'll get it done." Elon nodded but wasn't finished. He made another call, this time to SpaceX's HR department. "I want a new education initiative, a program for underprivileged children and families. And I need a senior advisor, someone with real experience in child care." A shuffle of papers on the other end. "Who do you want for the role?" Elon smiled, though the weight in his chest hadn't lifted. Maribel Vega. As he hung up, he gazed out the window. The city lights burned as brightly as ever, as if the world hadn't changed. But he knew better. For him and Maribel, everything was different now. And this time, he wouldn't let history repeat itself. She would never have to work herself to exhaustion again. Most importantly, she would never again have to live in the shadow of a secret that should have been his to know all along. Elon Musk dropped his phone, his eyes still fixed on the twinkling lights of San Francisco outside the window. The streets below remained bustling. People carried on with their lives, but for him, the world had changed forever. The truth about his past, about his father, about Maribel, about the childhood years when he had always felt lost, was no longer scattered fragments, but had become a clear picture. He had once thought that success was the best way to shed the past, but now he realized that some debts couldn't be paid with money, only with action. Maribel had protected him when he was a child, and now it was his turn to protect her. The next morning, before the sun had fully risen, Elon was already sitting in a conference room with his legal team. The lawyers and financial experts looked at him with a mix of curiosity and hesitation. "You want to buy that cafe?" one of the lawyers asked, his expression doubtful. "Exactly." Elon leaned forward, his gaze firm. "And also the cleaning job Maribel is working the night shift for." The room fell silent for a moment. Another person spoke up. "Sir, we can easily acquire the cafe, but the cleaning company is a much larger business. It has hundreds of employees, not just Maribel. Are you sure you want to invest in this field?" Elon folded his arms, his voice steady. "I don't care if it's big or small. I want to make sure that people like Maribel never have to work themselves to exhaustion again. And I want to change the way society treats those who dedicate their lives to taking care of others." The people in the room exchanged glances, then nodded. They were all too familiar with his bold ideas, and this was just another one. Within days, the transactions were executed at the kind of speed only someone like Elon Musk could manage. The cafe owner couldn't believe his luck when he received an overwhelmingly generous offer. Meanwhile, the cleaning company, a business that had been around for decades, initially resisted the deal. But when Elon presented an offer large enough, along with a plan to overhaul its entire wage and benefit structure, they couldn't refuse. But acquiring the cafe and the cleaning company was only the first step. The next, and more important, step was convincing Maribel to accept his help. One late afternoon, Elon drove to the cafe himself, this time without security or assistance. As he stepped inside, he looked around for her. Maribel was still the same, still in that worn uniform, still moving slowly between tables, still tending to unseen wounds that no one bothered to notice. But one thing Elon realized immediately: she looked even more exhausted than before. He approached her, this time more gently, not wanting to startle her. "Maribel," he called softly. She looked up, her age-brown eyes filled with surprise and a hint of wariness. "Elon, why are you here again?" He pulled out a chair and sat down, resting his arm on the table. "Are you done with your shift?" Maribel shook her head, glancing at the clock on the wall. "One more hour." Elon nodded, then pulled a large envelope from his coat pocket and slid it toward her. "You should take a look at this." She eyed him cautiously but carefully opened the envelope. Inside was a letter confirming the cafe's new ownership. Maribel skimmed through it, then looked up at him, her eyes filled with confusion. Elon, what is this? He leaned back in his chair, a small, gentle smile playing on his lips. This cafe belongs to me now, and I want you to stop working here. Maribel stiffened. She shook her head, pushing the envelope back toward him. No, Ellie, I can't accept this. You can't do this for me. He leaned forward, his voice low and firm. You did everything for me, Maribel. Your whole life has been spent taking care of others, helping them have a better life. Now it's my turn to do that for you. She studied him, her lips pressing together as if she were battling her own emotions. But I don't want to be a burden. Elon chuckled lightly. This isn't a burden, it's a thank you. Maribel looked away, her fingers tightening around the letter in her lap. After a long moment, she took a deep breath. Then, if I agree to leave this job, what do you want me to do? Elon leaned back in his chair, his eyes glinting with a playful spark. Oh, I don't expect you to sit around doing nothing. In fact, I have another job that suits you even better. She narrowed her eyes at him, skeptical. What kind of job? His smile widened. A new educational project for underprivileged children. A program to teach them what really matters, not just academics but life skills. And I need someone who knows how to teach kids, someone who understands them, someone who can inspire them. She blinked, taken aback. And you think that person is me? Elon nodded firmly. No one is more suited for it than you. Maribel studied him for a long time, her eyes filled with thoughts he couldn't read. Finally, she let out a long sigh. But this time, it wasn't resistance. It was acceptance. You really don't give up easily, do you? Elon grinned. You're the one who taught me that. A slow smile spread across Maribel's face. She nodded. All right, if you truly believe I can help, I'll give it a try. Elon felt a weight lift off his shoulders. He knew this was only the beginning, but at least it was the right beginning. And for the first time in years, he felt that he had done something truly meaningful. Not for fame, not for profit, but simply because it was the right thing to do. A few weeks after the fateful conversation between Elon Musk and Maribel Vega, her life began to change in a way she had never imagined. The cafe where she had worked for so many years now had a new owner, a figure she could not accept. Elon had not only bought the cafe, but he had also raised wages for all employees, improved working conditions, and, most importantly, ensured that Maribel would never have to wipe down another table again. But what occupied her mind the most was not quitting her job. It was Elon's proposal. The educational project he mentioned was not just an ordinary initiative. It was called Guardian Angels, a program designed to help underprivileged children develop holistically, not only in knowledge but also in critical thinking and life skills. Even more special, this project was not only for children, but also for elderly individuals who had spent their lives caring for others, only to be forgotten by society. Elon wanted Guardian Angels to be a place where people like Maribel could share their wisdom, experiences, and love with future generations. At first, Maribel hesitated. She had never been involved in a major project before. But then, Elon reminded her of something. She had been doing this her whole life without needing a title. You taught me so much, Elon told her one late afternoon. I never forgot the things you said, the stories you told. You don't need a degree to prove your worth. You just need to keep doing what you've always done, inspiring people. After some time thinking it over, Maribel finally agreed to give it a try. But she had one condition. I don't want to just sit behind a desk. I want to work directly with the kids. Elon smiled, nodding immediately. I wasn't planning on letting you just sit and watch anyway. And so, a new chapter in Maribel Vega's life officially began. A few months later, as the Guardian Angels project took shape, Maribel moved into a small, cozy apartment right at the heart of the community center. This was not a nursing home. Elon had made that clear from the start. It was a community where the elderly were not only cared for, but also given opportunities to contribute and connect with younger generations. Every day, Maribel took part in small classes where she told stories, guided children to think creatively, and encouraged them to remain curious and explore the world. She taught them how to fold paper airplanes, just as she had once done with Elon when he was little. She told them about the stars, about dreams that reach beyond space, and most importantly, she listened to them. Something not everyone was willing to do. Elon visited often. He was not just the founder of this project, he was a part of it. He brought his children to meet Maribel so that she could teach them the things he believed they needed to know, not just about science or technology, but about curiosity, about living a meaningful life. One day, Elon's youngest son tugged at Maribel's sleeve and asked, "Grandma Maribel, do you remember when my dad was little?" Maribel laughed, her eyes shining with memories. "Of course, dear. He was a very curious child, always asking questions that even adults couldn't answer." Elon sat across from her, arms crossed, watching her with amusement. "And did you ever think that the little boy who asked too many questions would grow up to build spaceships?" Maribel smiled, her voice gentle yet certain. "I always knew you would do something great, Ellie. I didn't know exactly what, but I always believed in you." A brief silence passed between them, not awkward, but an understanding that needed no words. Then one day, while Maribel was tending to small potted flowers in the shared garden of the guardian angels, Elon visited her with a special gift. It was a small notebook with a soft leather cover, with an old photograph tucked inside the first page, a picture of a young boy with messy hair and eyes full of dreams. Beneath the photo, there was only one sentence: "Thank you for believing in me when no one else did." Maribel gently touched the picture, tears threatening to fall, but she quickly smiled. "I don't need gratitude, Ellie. I just need you to keep believing in other children, the way I once believed in you." Elon nodded. "I promise." As time passed, Guardian Angels became more than just a project. It became a movement. The children who came from the center carried not only knowledge, but also a deep sense of gratitude and responsibility for the world. The elderly, once forgotten, now found new meaning in life. And for Maribel, these were the best years of her life, not days spent working tirelessly for a paycheck, but days lived with purpose, surrounded by those she loved. On her 87th birthday, Elon organized a small celebration. No extravagance, no luxury, just the children she had taught, the elderly she had lived with, and his family. When she blew out the candles, someone asked her what she had wished for. Maribel simply smiled, her eyes full of contentment. "I've already had my wish," she said softly, glancing at Elon. "A little boy I once believed in grew up to change the world. What more could I ask for?" And in that moment, Elon knew that he had fulfilled a mission, not to take humanity to Mars, not to revolutionize technology, but to make sure that the woman who once protected him would never be forgotten. The story of Elon Musk and Maribel Vega was not just about rediscovering the past. It was a testament to the power of gratitude and responsibility. Maribel was not just a caretaker. She was the one who planted the seeds of dreams, who helped Elon believe in himself when the world doubted him. And in return, Elon did not just repay her. He created something so that people like her would never be forgotten. Guardian Angels was not just a project, it was a legacy.